Okay, looks like we are live now. This is the Wednesday night Team Certainty and Power Network Google Hangout session for prospective new members and some current members as well. I'd like to thank the viewers for watching us or you tuned into us this evening, whether you're watching us on replay as well or live, on one of our YouTube channels, broadcast page, or possibly listening to it either on replay or live on one of the internet radio stations we broadcast on. Thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. I have with me today Mr. Iron Dane Richards below. How are you doing there, Mr. Iron Dane Richards?
I'm doing fine, sir. I'm doing fine. Good to see everybody.
Okay. All right.
Welcome back to some, and welcome to
We've got a bunch of stuff to go over today, and we're going to actually try and keep this hangout tonight a little bit short. If you can't tell, I'm sunburned, and I'm smart enough to know not to do it, but I guess too dumb to get out of the sun when I'm supposed to. So it's kind of funny too. I always get sunburned when I'm drinking vodka. Don't know why, but it always happens. Anyway, I've got a place to go. I got to get stuff done here in about 30 minutes. So we'll keep this, trying to keep this a little bit short tonight. But I've got a lot to go over. And again, I just shout out to all of our international viewers and prospective customers. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope we'll give you good content like we always do, and we can move on. Let's let them trickle in here for a little bit longer. Mr. Iron Richardson, any current events you want to chat about for a few minutes here? You let people come in?
I haven't paid much attention to the news the last few days. I've been focused on working on the web a little bit, and so I've kind of been away from that. The only thing that I was going to say is that our buddy Gary's a little bit feeling under the weather, so he's not here tonight. And I talked to him today,
okay.
And folks just wish him all the best. Nothing serious, but he just wasn't feeling so great.
It's Gary Smith, right? Gary Smith, right?
Right, Gary Smith.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was going through a little bit of a health issue and get things handled. We certainly do wish him the best. He's probably watching now anyway, and certainly wish you the best, Gary, and get well, and shout out to all Gary's customers and clients. I'm sure they know how to get in contact with him, and he'll be back. He's a pretty tenacious fella, his skin is tougher than nails, so he'll bounce back just fine. You don't have any issues there. So sooner the better. I caught something on Drudge. The other day, and it's something that our fearless leader Obama did. That I can't remember what it was. It was more troops in Afghanistan or what? But I mean, what a waste. I had lunch yesterday with a buddy of mine, and I haven't seen him in quite a while, and he's a very bright guy, and he keeps his finger on the pulse of all this stuff, international marketplace and so forth, and he feels as though there's so much oil interest in Iraq, that America's going to do something. But right now Iran looks stronger and more with their head on straight than America does. It's a shame and it's sad, but that's what our fearless leader, Mr. Obama has done for us. But I don't like really talking about politics or religion one way or another. I just I got to go about my business. Bills got to get paid. People have to be fed. Kids need to get to school. It's all the stuff that we as family men and have to provide and do what we can do. And it's a matter of standing. Now, we're fortunate we work with Empower Network, so we can pretty much call our own schedule, and the residual is obviously quite good as well. But for others, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a long haul, and we're already halfway through 2014. I can remember saying we're halfway through 2012. And yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing moving. Here, tonight we don't have really a topic tonight. Actually, we do have a topic tonight. The topic tonight is Charlotte. This is the last regional event. I keep getting texts from Dave Wood about there's so many tickets left for Charlotte. And it's probably going to be a pretty big deal. I'm not going to make it. Well, I say I'm not going to make it. I actually bought a ticket, but I don't plan on going. I just bought a ticket with the reservation of thinking I was going. This is way back when. And, and I went to New Orleans, was going to go to Charlotte, did not make the Seattle one. And I'm still anxious to hear what David Wood is going to announce, on the 26th. Now, I am more convicted than ever that it's going to be the iPass. They're going to roll out iPass to the entire, to the entire Empower Network group, and probably limit it to Empower Network. You have to be an Empower Network member. But the iPass 2 can be applicable to any MLM or direct sales organization. So you can bring your downline into Empower Network. Someone's got to get signed up with Empower Network. Then they'll have access to all this stuff, including the Empower Network products, which will help in your Organo Gold or your Amway or whatever else you're selling. And I do believe that's what they're going to announce. It's just too quiet for Chris Wood. Chris Jones. Sorry, Chris Jones. And it's just way too quiet for him right now. For not to let the cat out of the bag. I think he doesn't want to get on video right now because he won't be able to contain himself. He'll let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, I do believe that might be an issue, but we'll wait and see. I go back to this question that Dave Wood, announced, to people, to everybody, I say, it was about 3 weeks ago when he said that. Everyone in the industry, long-time players in the MLM and direct sale organization industry will feel unethical not to join Empower Network. It's a pretty strong statement. Maybe the word unethical was not a best choice of words, because it means one very powerful and significant thing. And, but for what David Wood chose to use that word, probably a better one would be instead of feeling unethical, they would feel more motivated than ever to join in Empower Network now with the changes that are going to come. I will say this though, and this probably isn't the forum to discuss this, and I need to get clarity on it as well. But on these all-in packages, it's not 100% commission for the members. And I need to get clarity on that first because I just glanced over it. Haven't even looked at my back office. Haven't even looked at, the transfer of funds yet. But it's going to be, my gut feeling tells me what I saw was correct. And if that's the case, then it's going to piss a few people off. But it doesn't really matter. These things, in the long run, it all evens out.
Right.
Changing from the 2, 4, 6 in every fifth pass up to the 1, 3, 5 in every fifth pass up. They say that's supposed to make a dramatic change or difference. I think it will a little bit, believe it or not, but it's only going to be the difference for the people that are active. But I was having a conversation about this specific topic with a team, with another team leader here at Team Surety, and their response was, changing it to a 1, 3, 5 will make a difference, but again, it's only for the people that are active in it. But when they're responsible, well, that's the case with anything. If you're not active, it's not going to be effective to you. But we'll see. We'll see. How it all materializes here after the announcement on the 26th. So, I don't know if they're going to do a live stream or not. They've done it in the past. I don't think they're going to do it in Charlotte. I'm more curious on when the next event is. And we're still getting support tickets in, about where is the next event. And I'm sure the viewers would love to know right now, where is the next event beyond Charlotte, and it's going to be in October. But I don't know where it's going to be. My gut feeling tells me it's going to be a central location, like Memphis, St. Louis, Oklahoma City, Dallas. Probably Dallas, because you can fly in and out of Dallas so easy, basically anywhere. So my gut feeling Dallas. It might even be Atlanta. Who knows? Back to Atlanta. But David Wood, have you been catching all these David Wood? Webinars, he's putting on every night?
No, I haven't caught all of them. I've been kind of tied up with some things.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We actually watched one last week, or a portion of one last week. And he's kind of cut back on that. I know he's busy doing some other things, and it's, it's affecting. It's solely for the Charlotte event, but he's really going at it pretty strong. He's really attacking, not the industry, but he's attacking the leaders in the industry, and he's really kind of they're calling them out, basically is what he's doing. But when somebody does that, my initial response is, everyone has to hear what you have to say first. If you got special announcements coming out, you can't call anybody out until you've made those announcements.
Right.
and they are what you say they are. Which I do believe they are. It will be, and we'll see. The hesitation I have a little bit rests solely in the apparatus buildup of the iPass 2 system. And Chris Jones is not a dummy. He's a very bright guy, and he realizes. I'm sure he realizes. You roll out iPass 2 to the Empower Network, entire Empower Network company. You got to have a huge setup in place, ready to rock and roll. You can't just say, well, once they buy, we'll fill the seats. You can't do it that way. The PBAs and everything else that are going to be doing all the sales and for new members, they have to be in place and ready to handle the calls and everything else that will be coming, very, very quickly, within hours, should be within hours after rolling it out to the entire public, to the entire Empower Network team. So that, I was thinking about this the other night. I think it may wind up doing it in stages. David Wood's pretty consistent with this, and that is, whoever goes to Charlotte physically is going to hear it first, and they're going to have first access to it, whatever the announcement's going to be.
Yeah.
And then no one else is going to have access to it until a day or two after the event, and then after that, he does it in stages. He'll do it in stages, but everyone in Charlotte's going to get it. Have access to it first. So, but I
think it's going to be great.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's going to be great when they finally get it out. But I think you're right. I think it is going to be the iPass 2. It just makes sense what you're saying is that from all things. And folks, it is they've done a lot of work to prepare. If you've ever tried to launch something, that's a lot of back end to take care of before you can take it forward. And Mike's totally correct on this. It's a lot of work. So.
Well, you're right. We will see. And one of the things that when we originally began talking about this, and hypothesizing what the announcement is going to be. My original take on it, just because of this unethical, statement that Dave Wood made about, it wasn't an unethical statement. It was a statement that included the word unethical, about him saying that, current industry leaders in the MLM industry and direct sales would feel ethical not to join Empower Network. And, that's a very powerful statement, extremely powerful statement.
Ooh.
And so, my original thinking was what I wrote about ENV2 a year back from now about what EMV2 eventually was going to be, and that would be a platform for all MLM programs. It doesn't matter what program it is, whether it's Empower Network, Organo Gold, Amway, Herbalife, Yogi, Yagi, whatever drinks you can think of, vitamins and whatever else, and so that all of these type of companies and their downlines and their teams and everything else are all welcome at Empower Network, because it makes sense. Empower Network's products help all those issues. You don't have to buy the products if you don't want to, but it makes sense to have Empower Network as friend of the industry, and teaching the industry. And it doesn't matter if you're an Organo Gold member or a Herbalife member. Utilize the Empower Network products to move those products in Herbalife and become a leader in the Herbalife industry. Herbalife, program. That is one of the intent I know of Empower Network, and that was my original thinking, that's what Dave Wood is going to roll out. To me, that makes sense. In his mind, the word unethical is probably a valid statement, because he realizes how much it will help the PBAs and everything else for IPAS-2 will help, Amway members and Organo Gold members that don't sell and stuff like that. So my original thinking was the IPAS-2 was included in the rollout to the entire industry. I don't think that now. I don't think they're capable of doing that yet. I could be wrong, but I don't see the the fuses, if you will, to the back office that should be there. Although they did make a couple changes recently into the back office. But in order to implement, a CRM type of contact management, which is what it would require, would be something of significance. So I think they're probably 6 months away from that. That's my gut feeling. So the IPAS-2, rolling the IPAS-2 out and getting that in place, for all of the current, Empower Network members, and having preemptive rights, to the other system that could roll out, for everyone, but only if you're a member of Empower, as a preemptive rights. I think it's something that should be considered as well, because that I do believe that is a possibility. It's a long shot possibility for this time period. I think it's a pretty solid choice. 6 months or a year from now. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely with that.
Work to Richard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that all the way. I just think that, they've needed something, though. I think, this is really a good timing for it, too. With all the changes that's gone on, I think they really do need something to bring things back into, current people and new people, give them a new focus. I think that's where I'm trying to say is we really do need something that's current,
Yeah.
And, and it is an upgrade, folks, too. I mean, there's no question about it. But like you said, when you're calling it unethical not to give it to whatever project that you're doing or whatever kind of offering, that's pretty encompassing. That's pretty bold, but I'm glad, they've always had a standpoint of being bold about what they do, so they've got to have something behind it,
Yeah, it reminds me of a little quick story I'll tell here about, Empower Network in the last, since the first of the year with the David Wood departure, these 3 spread out, regional events. Again, the David Wood departure, the Big Treehouse debacle, and all the other ones that were laced in there in between. David Wood becoming a daddy, and breakup with his wife, original wife that was part of Empower Network, all that stuff. huge drama, and the CEO getting hired, it's a big step, and there's a lot that's going on, and one of the things that David Wood, has got his arms around, is getting back to the basics, getting back to, the all-in club, if you will, or the all-in status, and how valuable that is, to all the members, and especially the prospective members. Doing some of the changes like the bundling of products, in general, I think that's a good thing. But I got to look at those commissions again and read what that CEO sent out, because I may be looking at something wrong. There's no reason why the commission should be any different than someone buying it, piecemeal. And anybody that can explain that to me, otherwise, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to do it, because it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
The members that buy full price at 100% discount, at 100% commission, if they get it at half price, they should be entitled to 100% commission as well at half price.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense really to do it any other way, would it?
But my gut feeling tells me there's an issue there, and they may change it. Like I said, the story I want to tell here in a minute has a lot to do with that. And when I teach my children, there's only two types of decisions in life: a right decision, and the other decision you just have to make right. And I think that's what they're gonna stumble across here. In essence, what they're saying is, if it's what I think it is, and again, I've got to get clarity on this. We'll probably talk about this Saturday morning, at the questions and answers, because we're getting a lot of questions in support that's sending over to me, and I'm trying to get an answer. I'm just behind with a lot of stuff for the last 2 or 3. I'm about 3 days behind with everything, even phone calls. So, if you're in a 100% commission, going all in or not going all in, within 72 hours of joining, it shouldn't make any difference, and even at a huge discount. And if there is, it's gonna piss off a lot of people. And the bottom line, and this will close on this topic, and that is, if that is the case, there's commissions and fees and everything else that have to get paid, to third parties, Empower, whoever, then basically what they're saying, and Empower is implementing this, then basically what they're saying is their original 100% commission model is a failure. And that's huge. You got to be very careful with stuff like that. When you make statements like that, and by your actions, you don't have to say a single word, but just by your actions, you got to be very, very careful when you're trying to grow a business, or because the standard thing with MLM and direct sales is, when everybody starts being successful, the company starts changing the commission schedules to make more money. And that's what it appears looking like a little bit here. And again, I could be off, but we'll talk about it Saturday morning. The little story I wanted to tell was, I got a real good friend of mine that he's been out of the pocket, so to speak, a self-inflicted retirement for the last 4 years, and he's decided to come out of it from a financial reason. It's got to, it makes sense, right? You got to pay your bills, right? And so he was telling me the other day, he was saying that he goes, Mike, I look back at where I made all my money in the last 20 years. He's not an older guy either. He's fairly young, and he said, broadcast faxing. I made a lot of money broadcast faxing in years past. And I said, well, it's kind of an antiquated, technology. And he goes, yes, it is. But I got involved when they didn't have computers. All I had were fax machines. But he was telling me, he goes, I got so good at it that the fax transmission that I would send to an individual was so good that it always got me business. And it didn't matter if it was 20 years ago or 5 years ago. And I think he said the last time he did it was actually 5 years ago. Then he retired, and now he's coming back out of retirement. And he goes, I'm going back to faxing. And I told him, I said, some of the rules have changed, You know, and there's certain states you just don't want to fax into, Missouri or Oregon, and there's a few other ones that I'm a little bit aware of. And he says, yeah, I'm on top of all that. You know, he goes, the technology is so much better now, so much cheaper, so much easier to do, but I got to follow my steps. You know, and because he said he was a master at it, and I believe he showed me the amount of fax back that he got and all the stuff. So the point I'm trying to make here is that, you know, going back to the basics and going back to what you know works is what Empower Network is doing right now. You know, and the announcement they make in Charlotte here in a week, you know, supposedly is going to rattle the marketplace of multi-level marketing and companies as well as direct sales, and we'll see if that's accurate. You know, I hope it is. You know, I hope it's a paradigm shift that, you know, moves the entire market, you know, like a wave. What's that saying? I know you know this, Iron Dave Richards. What's that saying they talk about? You know, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
So if Empower Network comes in with the rising tide, you know, then all the ships, all the MLMs, all the direct sales companies will rise with Empower Network.
Right.
You know, so, you know, that might be a good analogy, you know, that comes out of Charlotte, that, you know, rising tide, you know, rises all ships, you know, and hopefully that's the case with the announcement that happens with Empower. So we'll see, but yeah, I kind of thought that was funny. So what about email and text messaging and SMS messaging? And that's the wave of the future. Everyone's got their cell phone. My buddy goes, no, broadcast faxing. And I asked him, I said, you know, how do you? I get faxes all the time from people that, you know, on insurance or roofing or asphalt, you know, stuff like that. You know, just general stuff. And he goes, no, that's not how you do it. You have to get the right software where you do mail merge. You don't put a cover sheet on it. You just do a nice executive letter, mail merge it to somebody so he gets a specific name, and then you can have a page behind it, a supporting page behind it. You know, and then he told me about his secrets on how he did it. I really can't reveal all of those, but he goes, they're very extremely effective. You know, but he said the reason why you have to have a directed to an individual, you know, like, you know, Mike Thomas at winwithmikethomas.com or Mike Thomas Empower Network or Team Certainty or whatever, you know, and that's what comes across on the fax, is that the secretary that usually gets the fax will recognize it as being maybe important, and I don't have the authority to throw this away. If they got one that said, you know, join Empower Network, or, you know, it's a roofing or, you know, a small business loan or something like that, you know, the secretary just toss it, you know, and not lose any sleep on it. But if it's a letter on a letterhead signed by a person, then, and it's to her boss, you know, that she can tell, then it gets delivered. It goes straight to the boss's desk. She goes straight to his desk and puts it on his desk. That's the first thing he sees when he walks in the morning, that letter. You know, and if you do it that way, he said you're very effective. And it may be a little bit more pricey, it takes a little bit longer, whatever. He goes, but it's very effective. And this guy is a very bright guy, you know, and so I'm anxious to see how it comes out. He's in well, I can't even say the industry either, but it's similar to mergers and acquisitions. But he's a nice guy, good guy, and we'll see what happens. But he's going back to basics, you know, basically what he said. You know, and that's what Empower Network is doing as well, going back to the basics, you know, and working on the all-in, you know, and the core products, and which I think is a great thing. You know, and get this, you know, big street house, all this drama, you know, and everything else behind them. You know, it's going to be, you know, a year of growth, and again with, you know, we're all anxious to see what gets announced in Charlotte, but, you know, if it carries the impact, and it's kind of interesting. That's the name of this event, Impact. So, you know, we'll see what happens, and And I'm sure that word impact was not by mistake. It was carefully and selected time with good timing, because they want this to have impact, on the industry. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, that theme. If they pick that as the theme, as which they have,
Yeah.
that's the whole gig. Whatever the whole thing, whatever they're going to discuss is centered on what impact it's going to have on their industry and the other industries. Is the only thing I'm leading to, because I think they're, what they're implying is, if it's not ethical, it's going to impact everything around them too. And that's why you have to get in and bring in whatever you got, because it's going to impact every aspect of what you could possibly be doing. So, I'm excited to figure out what they really are now. We've got our speculations, but the tail will be in the tape once you get to Charlotte and hear the good news. Is exactly what they're doing.
Look, we have our agenda here at Team Certainty, and we're not shy about it. We like to make money,
right?
And we make money outside of Empower Network. That's part of the deal. But we use the Empower Network products, to promote and do these other deals. We make great money with Empower Network. Great money with Empower Network products, but we're into a lot of different things. We don't promote any other MLM or any other direct sales other than Empower Network. It's the only one you'll ever hear us talk about, that we're involved in, unless you're in the back office and you're in the back office with us, of Team Certainty website. Then you'll hear other, opportunities, whether they're MLM. Very seldom they are. I mean, they're more designed and custom built by us, and how we make money. A great one we do is AdSense. But you got to do it the right way. It's not a lifesaver get rich quick, but it's slow and steady. And if you do it right. And and the other income boards that we use in the back office, which are income tabs that people see at the different levels. By the way, that's what the buttons are for below, where you can join tonight. It's only $25. It's all you can spend tonight. And your sponsor will get with you on if you join at level 2 or above. And I recommend joining at level 3. You're going to position yourself, to make the maximum, or actually not the maximum, but for the least amount of money, make the most, earn the most money, be in the position, earn the most for the least amount of money. And that's in my opinion. Going all in is definitely the route to go. So.
Oh, you're hitting right on the nail on the head. It's kind of like, kind of like what Einstein said years ago. You have to learn the rules of the game and then play better than everybody else. And the good news about what we offer is at Team Certainty is that we've taken some of the pain out of the growth areas for you if you're signing up tonight. Is that we've already gone through the growing pains for you, and we've got the rules of the game laid out in the back, and it's real easy to get started, folks. I guess that's one of the things I just wanted to chime in with you on that one, Mike, is that it really is it's the best time to get started too, folks, tonight. Waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow will always come, but tomorrow's not going to bring any promises if you don't do something today. I think one of my best mentors told me one time is doing nothing is doing something. You're just not accomplishing anything. You're absolutely doing nothing, but you're really doing something. You're wasting time, and the good Lord only gave you so many days on this earth, so many hours and so many minutes, and He made you a billionaire to begin with in time. You got over 1 billion seconds, but you better well use them right, because otherwise, it's going to pass you by. So, the best thing I can tell everybody is get in, get signed up. Just get your feet wet, give it a test, see if it's something you like, and you never know until you try it. I mean, it's like that thing that they serve sometimes when you've been out, and you're like, man, that looks kind of different. And then once you tried it, you're like, man, that's great. So, you know, it's the same thing when you're doing marketing. A lot of times people find things that have a match, or they fill a need, or that, you know, it's a good fit for them, that they may not have thought about it in the beginning, but once they get into it, you know, they're like, wow, I wonder why I didn't do this earlier. I've done that a few times, and you're like, yeah, this isn't bad at all. This is kind of good, actually, and I feel good about it. You know, we try to have fun here at Team Certainty. I mean, you guys are just seeing these hangouts, but you're not seeing everything behind the scenes. I mean, especially if you get with us at one of the events, folks. So, yeah, I just kind of want to chime in there with you, Bud, on that. But yeah, I think, folks, you know, you got to give it a try, because if you don't try anything, you're not going to get anything out. You know, there is no perpetual motion machine. It's effort in, effort out. That's a law of physics, and it applies to business and any aspect of your life. So,
two things come to mind real quick with me on that, and that is, and we'll shut this down because I've got to get out of here, and we can make it a short one for tonight. But the two things that come to mind real important on that, and that is, you know, Wayne Gretzky, you know, the greatest hockey player of all time, they say, which I do agree. By the way, have you seen his daughter? You know, hubba hubba. Anyway, yeah, just Google Wayne Gretzky's daughter. You know, she's some platinum blonde, you know, in Hollywood, you know, one of these. Anyway, you know, he made a great statement. He said that, you know, I never made a shot I didn't take. You know, and yeah, I mean, and you know, there's so much truth to that in life. That, you know, you got to take the shot. You know, without taking a shot, you'll never make it. You know, and you know, and you see people like us that have made it. You know, and we took the shot. You know, and you know, we worked hard to make sure that shot made it. You know, and anybody can do it with the Power Network. You just got to work hard, but you got to take the shot first. You know, the other thing that comes to mind, you know, on these issues, what you talked about there, and then I'll close it down, you know, for tonight, and that is, you know, it would be nice to have, I think, what is it, $86,500 in your bank account every day. You know, you wake up every morning and you got $86,500 in your bank account every single day, and you better use it. You have to use it, because if you don't use it, it goes away. And this is just a scenario, right? A hypothetical scenario, where every morning in your bank account you get a new deposit of $86,500 into your bank account. And you can take the money out, you can buy an airplane, you can give it away, you can do whatever you want to with it, but you better use it, right? And then, you know, at stroke of midnight, boom, it all goes away. You know, the balance goes to zero. You know, then an hour later, you know, whatever, you know, you get, boom, a deposit, $86,500 every morning. Well, you know, that's exactly what is happening in real life, for everyone watching this, including you and I, Iron Ed Richards, Mr. Richards. You know, because we get $86,500, I'm sorry, 86,500 seconds every single day deposited, you know, into our time bank that we get to use every day. 86,500 new, I think it may be 87,500 new minutes every single day. Seconds, every single day. And how are you going to use them? You're going to waste them? I love your comment there, your phrase there on idle time. You know, when you're not doing anything, you're actually doing something. You're wasting time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Well, I mean, it's true. It really is. You know, I take, you know, but anyway, going back to the story, that, you know, when you have these minutes, these seconds, 87,500 seconds, how are you going to use them every day? I dropped my youngest daughter off at school, and it's a new school for her, you know, in high school, you know, and that's what I told her. She knows the story, you know, and I said, honey, how are you going to use your seconds today? You know, are you going to make new friends? Are you going to, you know, make new teacher friends? Are you going to explore the school? You know, how are you going to spend your 86,000 seconds today? You know, make it worth something. You know, try something new, do something new. You know, and it's so true for that. And here at Empower Network, that's what the buttons are for below. Make sure you read the earnings disclaimer as well. below that as well, and a link to Empower Network's main earnings disclaimer. But as the great Wayne Gretzky said, I never made a shot I didn't take. And so if you never took the shot, there's no chance you'll ever make it. So his point is, take the shot. Even if I didn't think I was going to make it, he still took the shot. And some he actually made. And there were many others he took a shot. He knew he was going to make it. And that's the only reason he did take the shot, and he did make it. Of all time, leading scorer of all time. There. So anyway, closing comments there with you, Mr. Iron Dane Richards.
Yeah, I love that analogy that you use with the time and the seconds, and it reminds me of another saying. Gary loved this tonight, but don't watch the clock. Be like the clock and keep going, keep ticking forward. And that's one that was one of the quotes that I heard years ago. As a friend of mine used to tell me, he goes, "Man, stop watching the clock. Be like the clock. Get going."
Yeah.
And clocks don't really run backwards. They always go forward. So
right.
He says, looking back, it's in the past. You can't do anything. It's back there. Keep going forward. Keep your eyes on what in the future is and what you want your future to be. And with that, I'll say is we've discussed the buttons, and folks, just come on board, join us. And if not, come back on Saturday and join us again, until you find that, maybe this is something that's right for you. But we welcome you aboard. So
I'll close with one last quote, it's kind of applicable here, but, we're full of quotes tonight and saying, everyone here in Texas, we're all big barbecuers, and I've got this huge smoker in the back of on my deck. I'll take a picture of it sometime. And I tell people, I tell them all the time, what are you doing today? I'm smoking all day long. I'm just going to smoke all day long. Now, if Justin Varengia was on this hangout, he kind of snicker and laugh and everything else, which is all right, because, he's thinking smoking something different, right? Well, I'm thinking smoking. He's a great guy. I love Justin Varengia. He's a great guy. And I'm thinking about, I'm smoking meat. That's what you do on a smoker. You smoke meat. And there's a saying with guys that have these big smokers like us that, we all get together and play cards and do these smokes, 4th of July or football games, whatever. And the deal is, if you got the cooker open, the bottom line is, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. And if you're looking at the meat, you ain't cooking the meat. Because you got to keep the thing shut to cook it, right? So it's the same thing with doing these businesses and being an entrepreneur and taking a leap of faith and jump and joining Empower Network. If you're just looking, then you're not doing anything. If you're just looking, you ain't cooking. You got it. You've got to be able to cook, and that's what joining Empower Network. You've made the jump. You're in. So we'll leave it at that. And with Wayne Gretzky, I never made a shot I didn't take. So take the shot. You may make it. And just following us, it's pretty obvious. The chances of you making it are very strong. And again, the earnings disclaimers below. The sign-up buttons are below. All you can spend is $25 tonight. So thank you, Mr. Iron Dane Richards. Appreciate everything and for tonight. And thank you, viewers. We do these Google Hangouts twice a week, as I said before at the beginning. We do them this time frame from 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday. And then Saturday mornings we do the same Google Hangout for prospective members that want to watch, and some new members or learn more about Team Certainty, Empower Network, and us team leaders. What we do here at Empower Network, how we make our money, how we operate our businesses, and so forth. But we do the other session Saturday morning from 11 to 11:30 a.m. and it's a questions and answer session, much more casual than this. And the tab button over here on the side of your broadcast page, if you're watching it here on the broadcast page, if you click that support ticket tab, box will open up. You can type in a question. It gets to support. We'll answer it for you. and if they deem it appropriate, send it to us, and then we'll answer that question live in front of everybody for the group, for the masses, for the viewers, Saturday mornings from 11 to 11:30. So, hopefully we'll see you then. And again, thank you tonight, you viewers, for watching it. If you're watching this live or on a replay on one of our YouTube channels or broadcast pages, or possibly, again, listening on one of the radio broadcast stations on the internet that we broadcast on. Thank you for spending the time tonight. We are going to make a little bit early departure. I've got sunburn stuff I've got to get to, and deal with. Hopefully I'll look a little different on Saturday morning. So thank you again, Mr. Iron Dean Richards. Appreciate it. And we'll see everyone Saturday morning. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Folks.